Today's news highlights 20250626. Date June 26, 2025. June 26, 114, Republic of China. News highlights: Norihiro Sato, a Japanese cancer treatment authority, has developed 68 soups and 100 anti-cancer food therapies using 10 common ingredients. He emphasized that drinking soup can improve the intestinal environment, enhance immunity, prevent high blood sugar and cancer, and is easy to make, nutritionally complete, and suitable for daily intake. It is recommended to give priority to drinking soup during meals, which can delay the rise of blood sugar and improve satiety, which is conducive to health and longevity and cancer prevention. News highlights: doctors warn that stroke patients often ignore the risk of dehydration, and when the blood is thick and the arteries are hardened, it may lead to a mini-stroke. In addition to controlling the 3 highs, stroke prevention should also pay attention to hydration, diet 3 less and 2 more, and consume olive oil, nuts and other good oils and high-fiber foods. The new treatment RTMS can assist in rehabilitation and improve speech and limb function, but it is not suitable for everyone. Rehabilitation should not be interrupted, otherwise it may lead to a second stroke, and good lifestyle habits and moderate exercise should be developed on weekdays to reduce the risk of stroke. News highlights: a study by the Norwegian University of Science and Technology found that walking for more than 100 minutes a day reduced the risk of chronic low back pain by 23%. Studies that followed more than 10,000 adults confirmed that total walking was more effective than intensity in preventing lower back pain. Whether it's fast or slow, the key is to accumulate time. Studies suggest that incorporating 100 minutes of walking a day into your daily routine can help reduce the occurrence of back pain and create long-term healthy lifestyle habits. News highlights: recent studies have shown that eating 2 kiwi fruit for breakfast a day for 4 weeks can increase the number of bowel movements by 1.5 times per week. Kiwi fruit is rich in water, enzymes, and dietary fiber, which can soften stool, promote intestinal peristalsis, and improve intestinal flora. Experts recommend a combination of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, yogurt, and regular work and rest, drinking plenty of water and exercising habits to effectively maintain intestinal health and prevent constipation and intestinal diseases. News highlights: Ms. Lam, 54, suffered a gout attack after consuming a large amount of enoki mushrooms every day, and was worried that it was related to enoki mushrooms. Doctors pointed out that the purine content of enoki mushrooms is moderate, and moderate intake will not cause gout, but after menopause, women have an increased risk of gout due to hormonal changes. Studies have shown that high uric acid is mostly associated with metabolic abnormalities, diet, alcohol consumption, and insulin, not just food intake. It is recommended to control high purine foods, reduce alcohol consumption, drink plenty of water, maintain an ideal body weight, and take medication to control uric acid levels as appropriate to reduce the risk of gout. News highlights: the jackpot has been won in 34 consecutive periods, accumulating to 1.75 billion yuan, and will be drawn again on June 26. Folklore expert Yang Dengcheng shared 4 tricks to attract wealth. The zodiac is a tiger, a horse, a dog, and a pig with good fortune. Go to the southwest or due west lottery shop, choose a ticket shop facing southwest or due west. On that day, wear fire-colored clothing such as red, purple, and green to enhance wealth. Those who want to try their luck remember that the Willicay is drawn every Monday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m., and the betting deadline is 8 o'clock. News highlights: tensions in the Middle East have raised concerns about Taiwan's inflation, with the National Development Council assessing its impact on CPI at only about 0.2%, and the central bank also believes that the rise in oil prices is a short-term phenomenon with limited impact. Scholars pointed out that the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar can alleviate the pressure on oil prices, and inflation can be controlled in the short term. However, it is still necessary to pay attention to structural factors such as carbon fees and wage increases, which may push up long-term production costs, and it is recommended that the Taiwan authorities and enterprises respond early. News highlights: in July 2025, Hong Kong will combine the Urban Resilience Exercise for the first time to promote military-civilian unity and defense and the resilience of the whole society. The exercise will include protracted warfare and unscripted live military exercises, with the Ministry of National Defense and the Ministry of the Interior conducting evacuation drills in conjunction with large stores, and conducting simultaneous air defense drills in 7 areas of Taiwan's main island and outlying islands. The Urban Resilience Exercise has been carried out in many places since April, and was held in conjunction with the Hong Kong exercise in July. The objectives of the exercise include raising public awareness of disaster preparedness, encouraging the download of relevant apps, familiarizing themselves with the air raid evacuation guidelines and preparing evacuation kits in advance, strengthening the ability of the government and the private sector to work together to respond to disasters and create a safer national defense environment. News highlights: NATO leaders reached a consensus in The Hague, the Netherlands, on June 25 to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP by 2035, in response to former U.S. President Donald Trump's demand for military sharing and reaffirming the collective defense commitment under Article V of the Washington Treaty. The new budget will strengthen military and basic defense, totaling hundreds of billions of dollars a year. The meeting also pledged long-term support for Ukraine, but member states have mixed views on the Russian threat. News highlights China's auto industry is highly competitive, and about 90% of the used cars exported are actually zero-mileage new cars, which are exported to Russia and Central Asia in the name of used cars through the government-backed grey market OEM registration, helping manufacturers increase sales and clear inventory. China is expected to export more than 430,000 used cars in 2024, most of which are new cars. Local governments have encouraged the move to meet economic growth targets, but overseas markets are becoming more alarmed, and countries such as Russia have begun to restrict the sale of zero-mileage used cars to prevent Chinese car dumping from affecting local industries. News highlights last year, stimulated by the rise of Taiwan stocks and the new Qing'an loan, Taiwan's real estate market was briefly hot, and the number of completed sales increased significantly. However, in the first half of this year, the number of completed sales cases dropped sharply by more than 50%, and Taichung City fell the most, and the buying gas suddenly cooled. Despite the contraction in transaction volume, house prices continued to rise, causing owner-occupier buyers to wait and see, and the market showed a price-volume divergence. The price difference between pre-sale houses and second-hand houses has hit a 6-year high, and the room for negotiation has expanded. Experts believe that it is difficult for housing prices to fall sharply in the short term, and the correction of the housing market will continue until the end of the year. News highlights 0056 is a high-dividend ETF, which will be changed to quarterly dividend distribution from 2023 to increase cash flow and attract stable income investors. This week, the constituent stocks will be adjusted, deleting the top 10 constituent stocks such as Taiwan Optoelectronics and Yangming Shipping, and adding Kai Fund and Baokeng. 0050 tracks the Taiwan 50 index, mainly technology stocks. TSMC accounts for more than half of the total. Dividends are distributed semi-annually, and the split has been completed recently. In the past 3 years, the return rate of 0050 is better than 0056, especially in the past year. Experts suggest that different generations are laid out according to their life stages. Generation Z should pay attention to long-term growth. 0050 is suitable for accumulating assets, and 0056 is suitable for those who pursue stable income distribution. News highlights in July this year, the Han Kuang exercise for the first time combined with the urban resilience exercise, conducted an unscripted live exercise, included a protracted war scenario, and conducted simultaneous air defense exercises in 7 areas of Taiwan's main island and outlying islands. The Ministry of National Defense and the Ministry of the Interior will also conduct evacuation drills in conjunction with large stores to enhance the ability of the government and the private sector to cooperate in disaster prevention. The town resilience exercise has been held in many places since April, and in July, it was joined with the Han Kuang exercise to strengthen civil-military unity and resilience, promote the National Unity Month, encourage people to download disaster prevention apps, learn about evacuation guidelines, and prepare evacuation kits in advance to raise the awareness of disaster preparedness. News highlights the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, has warned that stablecoins fail to meet the 3 major monetary requirements: lack of central bank support, insufficient prevention of illegal use and lack of financing flexibility, which may lead to systemic risks. BIS described stablecoins as 19th-century private bank bills, lacking monetary unity and traditional clearing functions, and being easily used for illegal transactions. This stance is in contrast to the view of Bo Li, Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, that stablecoins have the potential for efficient payments. BIS called on central banks to promote a tokenized system with a unified ledger to improve payment efficiency and safeguard financial stability. News highlights the buffer period of U.S. tariffs on Taiwan is about to expire, and Economic Minister Guo Zhihui said that Taiwan-US negotiations are developing in a positive direction, and the United States is suppressing the mainland's mainland supply chain, which is conducive to Taiwan's semiconductor, information security, and AI industries, and orders are expected to shift to Taiwan, and the economic growth rate is expected to maintain 3%. Kwok also reminded that it is necessary to prevent Chinese products from entering Taiwan through detours or smuggling, which will affect the market order. In the face of the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar, the Ministry of Economic Affairs will assist small and medium-sized enterprises to improve product quality, reduce costs, expand the international market and promote intelligent manufacturing, strengthen industrial competitiveness, and ensure steady economic growth. News highlights Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh met with Zhang Hongmang, chairman of Honhas Industrial Fortune Union, in Tianjin on the 25th, and proposed that Hon Hai transfer technology and set up a semiconductor manufacturing plant in Vietnam. Pham Minh Chinh appreciated FII's investment in Vietnam and encouraged the continuous expansion of cooperation. Zhang Hongmang expressed his willingness to work with Vietnam to cultivate scientific and technological talents, and strengthen cooperation in the fields of AI data center, green manufacturing, and sustainable development. News highlights the opposition parties pushed for the revision of the budget law and advocated the codification of the general cash for tax excesses, hoping that the excess tax would be returned to the people, and the third reading would be held on the 27th or next Tuesday at the earliest. The 3 versions of the provisions respectively stipulate that if a certain threshold is exceeded, the general cash will be used, or priority will be given to reducing budget borrowing and taking care of the weak. The Government Council and the Ministry of Finance objected, pointing out that excess tax collection is not equivalent to a fiscal surplus, and that statutory expenditure should be deducted first and overall budget flexibility should be taken into account to avoid affecting fiscal soundness. The blue and white parties have different opinions on the amount to be distributed, and negotiations are still ongoing in the near future. News highlights: when interacting with girls, proper care and respect are the key, especially the following 4 zodiac sign women need to be treated more carefully. Taurus women have a soft heart, are prone to criticism and self-doubt, and need patience and love. Virgin women strive for perfection, criticism will hurt them, praise and encouragement will stimulate potential. Pisces women are emotionally sensitive, criticism makes it easy for them to escape, love and tolerance are there. Safe haven: the Libra woman craves harmony and is sensitive to conflict, and needs to be appreciated and supported in order to show grace and intelligence. Harsh words to them can easily lead to conflicts, and only gentle care can be exchanged for their gentle and considerate returns. News highlights: Sun Peng and Diying's son Sun Anzuo was recently photographed in a trance, topless on the street. Sun Peng said that he was caused by insomnia and stress. The media directly reported that the father and son appeared in the car maintenance shop. Sun Anzuo muttered to himself, behaved abnormally, and then suddenly undressed. After that, Sun Peng took him to swim to relax. Sun Anzuo was emotionally fluctuating when swimming, and his physical strength was exhausted, and he switched to using a dog crawling style to return to the shore, and his hands were also abnormal. Sun Peng accompanied and comforted him throughout the whole process, showing his father's love, but Sun Anzuo's condition is worrying and he may need professional assistance. News highlights today, 26th. Although the weather in Taiwan is sunny and hot, it is affected by the high-level cold heart and low pressure, and strong convective weather may occur in the afternoon. Former director of the Meteorological Bureau, Cheng Mingdian, pointed out that the low pressure has covered the sky over Taiwan, and if the convection breaks through the inversion layer in the afternoon, it will release unstable energy, causing severe thunderstorms and even hail. According to the Meteorological Administration, although the cold core depression is mainly found in the upper atmosphere, it may occasionally develop towards the surface, inducing tropical depressions or typhoons. News highlights: comedian He Long was exposed by Tianfei's friend Lin Yanfei, accusing him of asking Tianfei for an abortion and not accompanying him to seek medical treatment, and quickly spread an affair with Albi after the other party's death, and also criticized his friends for being too fat to go up, which caused criticism from the outside world. Lawyer Su Yuquan bitterly criticized He Long's anger of people and gods is rare, and netizens also angrily criticized him for abandoning and consuming the deceased, and his image was severely damaged. News highlights: a recent rollover accident occurred in the Three Gorges section of National Highway No. 3, a white sedan overturned 180 degrees, with 4 wheels facing the sky, but fortunately, the passengers in the car were fine. A long-haired woman wearing a low-cut top calmly climbed out of the car, smiling and jumping barefoot on the hot asphalt, looking cute and eye-catching. Netizens named her Lottie Girl, and the video sparked heated discussions after it was exposed. News highlights: He Long had an affair with Albi after his ex-girlfriend committed suicide, which caused controversy, and Saddle Entertainment announced the termination of the brokerage contract with him. The first season of He Long's night show hosted by him lost 5 million, and the second season was affected by a storm of discrimination, resulting in a sharp decrease in guests and sponsorship. The show was frustrated by the discriminatory remarks made by Chinese media personality Wang Xian, and the momentum was not as good as before, and Saddle cut He Long at this time, which was considered to be breaking his tail to survive. News highlights: Wu Qilong and Lu Shishi have been rumored to have changed their marriage recently, and even became the first hot search because of the revelations of Chinese bloggers, but on the 25th, some netizens exposed the picture of the two with their son step by step in the same frame on Weibo, and a family of 3 appeared in the basement of the mall in a low-key manner, interacting naturally after the meal, and smashing the divorce rumors. In the film, the husband and wife dress plainly and walk relaxedly, and travel with their children to show a happy family scene, indirectly responding to speculation from the outside world. News highlights: Lug, a famous tutor, was sued for being rumored and abused by netizens, and the other party finally apologized and compensated. Lug shared the matter on Facebook, and another netizen left a message: although the old sea is very green, but it is true, he said that he would file a lawsuit again, which caused heated discussions. Lug frankly admitted that it was the first time to sue strangers, and lamented that different political positions should not be a reason for rumors, emphasizing that adults should be responsible for words and deeds, and calling for rational discussion and respect for each other. News highlights: the Central Meteorological Administration warned that under the influence of high-level cold and low pressure, there will be severe afternoon thunder showers in Taiwan today and tomorrow, and hail may occur in some areas. Zhang Mingdian, former director of the Meteorological Bureau, pointed out that cold air at high altitude under cold pressure has enveloped Taiwan, causing an unstable structure of cold at the top and warm at the bottom, and strong convection. The Meteorological Department reminds that heavy rainfall and lightning strikes are prone to afternoon and activities in mountainous areas and streams must pay attention to safety, and there may also be brief showers in the western half from the evening of the 26th to the early morning of the 27th. News highlights: Taiwan's two largest banks, North Fubon and Hikud Bank, have recently continued to close and consolidate their branches. Hikud Bank merged 6 branches into 3 branches and closed 7 branches that had been eliminated this year, bringing the number of branches in Taiwan down to 256. Fubon announced that it will suspend the operation of 10 branches from August, all of which are branches of Risheng Bank, which was consolidated last year, and the business license will still be retained, which will strengthen the layout of the southern and other counties and cities and improve the efficiency of the base. This adjustment affects branches in the north, central and south, and the public should pay attention to the changes in service bases. News highlights: ASUS, 2,357, went ex-dividend today, with a cash dividend of 34 yuan per share hitting a record high, but due to the controversy over the adjustment of high-dividend ETF constituents and the continuous overselling of foreign capital, the stock price fell for 2 consecutive days, reaching a minimum of 636 yuan today, with a maximum decline of 4.5%, falling into a discount dilemma. Recently, the stock price has fluctuated violently, and it soared to a high of 745 yuan on the 24th due to the large subscription order of the ETF of Fuhua Investment Trust, but it fell heavily the next day. Foreign investors continue to oversell, and the market is still wait and see about whether ASUS can successfully fill the interest. News highlights: the jackpot has not been drawn for 34 consecutive periods, and the jackpot prize is 1.75 billion yuan tonight, 26th. Since the 4th charity lottery 103, Power K has only won the jackpot of more than 1.75 billion yuan 7 times, of which 5 lucky winners have won alone. The maximum prize is $3.125 billion for 47 consecutive installments on July 27, 109. The hottest winning numbers are 24 in District 1, drawn 323 times, and 2 in District 2, drawn 252 times. Since the beginning of this year, 20, 21 and 31 have appeared most often in the 1st district, and 02 and 04 have been the most popular in the 2nd district. News highlights: Norihiro Sato, an authoritative cancer physician in Japan, pointed out that cancer prevention can start with diet, and recommended 10 kinds of anti-cancer ingredients, including broccoli, especially cauliflower seedlings, burdock, yam, onion, garlic, mushrooms, tomatoes, omega-3 rich fish, such as mackerel, sardines, seaweed, and cabbage, which are rich in antioxidants, dietary fiber, and anti-cancer ingredients, which can help reduce the risk of cancer. He also reminded to avoid ultra-processed foods such as instant noodles, snacks, and carbonated drinks, as studies have shown that the risk of cancer is 20% higher. News highlights: do you know that the small sticker at the bottom of the thermos should not be easily removed? Japanese kitchenware brand Tiger reminds that this sticker can protect the weld area of vacuum insulation and prevent water or impurities from penetrating into it and causing rust or damage. If the sticker falls off, it is recommended to use a waterproof patch to remedy it to avoid affecting the performance. In addition, the thermos should not be exposed to the sun for a long time to avoid the sticker falling off. In terms of cleaning, family experts recommend not only rinsing with water, but using a small amount of dishwashing essence to wash the oil stains on the bottle mouth, and tea and coffee stains can be soaked in warm water and sodium percarbonate for half an hour before cleaning to ensure that the thermos bottle is clean and hygienic. News highlights: Zhongqian Comprehensive Channel's Classmates Are Coming was broadcast at 9 p.m. on the 26th, and the artist Liu Pu laughed at himself and Chen Daishan for having a husband and wife face, but he was often asked, "Have you ever been a soldier?" Trigger embarrassment. Pan Ruati was recognized for her role as Celine Dion, and was invited to perform on the same stage in Las Vegas, and was certified by Disney for her role as the bad queen in the movie. In addition, he is often mistaken for Jans Hillen in Power Train. The guest Lolita also revealed that she was often mistaken for Su Ruoxuan, and was even chased by fans for autographs, with constant jokes and a lively atmosphere. News highlights: 49-year-old Ruby Lin recently shared bikini vacation photos on IG, with a healthy weak complexion and a firm body that amazed netizens and fans, and friend Su Weining warmly left a message of appreciation. Over the years, she has relied on self-discipline, balanced diet and exercise to maintain her posture, and functional nutrition supplements to regulate metabolism. We also pay attention to the maintenance after the aesthetic treatment, and continue to maintain the firmness and elasticity of the skin. Ruby Lin loves sports, challenging aerial rings, core training and pull ups to show off her well-trained posture. She proved with her actions that freezing age depends on continuous hard work and habits, not just luck. News highlights: the 36th Golden Melody Awards Best Chinese Female Singer is highly competitive, with Wei Ruxuan, Tanya Tsai, Penny Tai, Karen Cici, and Chen Xinyu competing for the queen. Numerology master Gong Xiaoli used tarot cards for divination, eliminated Chen Xinyu in the first round. Tanya Cai was unexpectedly defeated, Dai Penny was rescued because of the crown card and finally won. Karen Cici was still defeated by Dai Penny despite the blessing of the trophy. Although the fortune is uncertain, Penny Dye is favored to win the championship, but the result is still to be announced at the award ceremony, which is expected. News highlights: Chris Robinson, a 24-year-old American track and field athlete, narrowly won the gold medal by 0.06 seconds in the 400m hurdles at the Ostwala Gold Race in the Czech Republic. Elda Sports urgently carried out post-production of live broadcast and replay footage to comply with regulatory requirements. This incident sparked heated discussions among netizens, who laughingly called it a broadcast accident, praising his spirit of sprinting with all his might despite embarrassment, and becoming another legend on the field. News highlights: the South Korean girl group NewJeans has come to a standstill due to a legal dispute with their agency ADOR. In March this year, the court accepted ADOR's application for a sham to prohibit NewJeans from independent activities, and the members' protest was dismissed, and the ban became official. The court held that the group's self-performance in Hong Kong in March this year violated the company's instructions and was a material mistake. Although the group did not appear in the group, the official channel was still updated, and member Danielle was also photographed attending overseas events with ADOR personnel. Fans look forward to the return of the group members, and think that at this stage, they can only return to the company to continue their activities or pay liquidated damages. News highlights: Zhang Tao, a 26-year-old member of the Hong Kong boy group Mirror, was rescued from falling into the sea a few days ago, and after being discharged from the hospital, he explained that he wanted to sit on the beach and watch the sunset after running because of the good weather. He stressed that the accident was not due to drunkenness or emotional problems, and that he could swim but had not swam for a long time, and was fortunate to be helped by a lifebuoy. Zhang Tao also posted a selfie with his hands full of scars, humorously expressing his cool arms. News highlights: comedian He Long and actress Albie were questioned about intervening in their ex-boyfriend's relationship, and some Threads netizens recently accused Albie of being a habitual junior, and also broke the news that she had asked someone to choke. "You are also old, don't drag it out," causing a storm of public opinion. Albie immediately issued a 4-point statement to strongly refute it, saying that he did not know the netizen, had never invited a male musician with a girlfriend to make music at home, and the content of the post seriously damaged his reputation, and would be sued in accordance with the law, and called on the other party to respect himself and hope to get out of the past pain as soon as possible. News highlights: American singer Bobby Sherman became a teenage idol in the 60s and 70s with classic songs such as Little Woman, and was famous for half a century. He recently died of stage 4 cancer at the age of 81. In her statement, the wife emotionally said that Bobby has supported her family with love and courage throughout their 29-year marriage, and has been gentle and strong until the end of her life. Bobby Sherman's career was active from 1962 to 1976, with a number of gold singles and gold records, and retired in 2001 after a comeback in the late 90s, leaving behind 2 sons and 6 grandchildren. News highlights: actress Yang Yazoo has become popular for dramas such as Diary of a Female Soldier and Female Force Registration, focusing on life for nearly 3 years, loving golf and yoga. She has 2 cats, among which the Meeks cat Stupid Sweet, who has been with her for 17 years, died of illness earlier this year, which made her choke up unforgettable. Stupid Tien suffered from multiple diseases such as kidney failure and new crown pneumonia last year, and Yang Yazoo spent 400,000 yuan in medical expenses for treatment, but it was still irreversible. She held a memorial service for Silly Tien, felt the healing of the ceremony, and buried her beloved cat, planning to make glass ornaments to commemorate it. News highlights: Apple is faltering in the global wave of artificial intelligence, AI. Last year, WWDC24 previewed a number of new AI features that became the selling point of the iPhone 16, but it was delayed in launching, and the outside world questioned Apple's pie. Apple's stock price fell 1.2% after WWDC ended this year as the market looked forward to an upgraded AI assistant Siri, but Senior Vice President Friedrich admitted that personalized Siri still needs more time to perfect. Wall Street analysts and foreign media believe that Apple's problem is not technological backwardness, but institutional dilemmas, including limited access to user data, affecting the development of highly personalized AI, and the overall progress is far less than expected. News highlights: the prototype of the Chinese-built submarine Haiken, 26th, conducted its second sea survey, and it is planned to complete all sea tests on September 30th and deliver the ship in November as agreed. The first sea survey was completed on the 17th, focusing on the surface stability test, followed by 3 to 4 float tests to test the control and stability of the hull in different sea conditions, and then the shallow water and deep water diving tests will be carried out sequentially. The Ministry of Defense said that about 34 tests at sea were carried out in 3 phases and were adjusted for deficiencies based on the results. The Taiwan ship confirmed that the first test has successfully completed the dynamic combination test of propulsion, rudder wing, power, and other systems. News highlights: after a 12-day conflict, Israel and Iran reached a ceasefire on the 24th under the mediation of US President Trump and Qatar. Iran publicly admitted for the first time on June 25 that its nuclear facilities that had been attacked by US airstrikes had been seriously damaged. On the 13th of this month, Israel launched a surprise attack on the Rise of the Lion, which severely damaged Iran's defense and nuclear programs. The U.S. military carried out Operation Midnight Hammer on the 22nd, sending 7 B-2 bombers to drop 14 giant ground-penetrating bombs to attack Fordow and other nuclear facilities. A spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry said the nuclear facilities had been badly damaged, the first time since the conflict began that the nuclear facilities had been officially acknowledged to have been damaged. News highlights on July 26. The general recall of Taiwan entered the critical voting stage. China's Taiwan Affairs Office criticized the DPP for its recall in an attempt to suppress the opposition parties, triggering a counterattack from Taiwanese netizens and political worker Zhou Xian, believing that the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council is the best candidate for election. Zhou Xian also revealed that the Kuomintang seized the right to open the road on the evening of July 25 to hold a pre-election event, which netizens caricatured as the last performance. The election atmosphere was tense, and the recall issue continued to cause heated discussions. News highlights: when a driver in Darwin was waiting for a red light in the early morning, he found a visually impaired person holding a white cane who was suspected of being disoriented, and when he was unsure of the reason, the truck driver in the next lane immediately got out of the car to assist and safely guided the other party to the sidewalk. The original Po was moved to share the video, which aroused a warm response from netizens, appreciating the driver's kindness and heartwarming, and even left a message saying that it was just a gesture. This incident conveys that there is still goodwill and warmth in the society, which has aroused widespread resonance. News highlights: Internet celebrity Bajian was named by the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council for lifelong accountability for his anti-communist remarks, and last night he suddenly announced that he would transfer from Hong Kong to Beijing, shocking the outside world. He claimed that he had completed the Taiwan compatriot permit, saying that the motherland can forgive me, and said that if he could not release the film or broadcast Live the Day After Tomorrow, he might have been arrested in Hong Kong or Beijing. Bajian's move aroused concern among netizens, and he left a message saying that it was too risky. This incident followed the return of the curator to Taiwan, which once again detonated heated public opinion on both sides of the strait. News highlights: President Li Qiang gave the second lecture of 10 lectures on uniting the country in Darwin on the 24th, emphasizing the elimination of impurities through elections and recalls, which was misinterpreted by the blue and white camp as suppressing dissent. Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, legislator Wu Saiyao counterattacked, exposing the history of the KMT's fraudulent signatures, criticizing it as a democratic impurity, and pointed out that many cases of joint signatures had a high failure rate and frequent deaths, and denounced the KMT's refusal to apologize and cheat. News highlights today, 26th. The whole Taiwan continues to be hot, and the high temperature in 8 counties and cities may soar above 36 degrees, and in the afternoon, under the influence of high-altitude cold core and low pressure, the atmosphere is unstable and thunder showers continue until late at night. In response to the possibility of dancing with two Taiwans next week, meteorological expert Wu Durong said that at present, there is a 30% chance of light Taiwan being generated in the eastern waters of the Philippines and Taiwan, but the simulation paths of various countries are different, such as heavenly maiden scattered flowers, and the future trend is still uncertain and needs to be continuously observed. News highlights: Taiwanese internet celebrity volunteer Rubber Band was chased twice by a taxi on the way to pick up his daughter a few days ago, and he had also received threatening messages before and had been reported to the police. The incident aroused concern, and musician Su Ziahua angrily criticized "Do you want to come to Yin?" and listed 7 intimidation incidents encountered by the Taiwan faction recently, including the removal of leader Wu Beiwei and the attack on political commentator Li Zhengao, etc., and issued a non-suicide statement. As the recall campaign enters the third stage, the outside world is worried about the suspected involvement of the underworld forces, and calls on relevant units to face up to and protect personal safety. News highlights: Japanese cartoonist Ryuki predicts that a major earthquake and tsunami will occur on July 5, 2025, affecting Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong and other places, causing panic among some people. Although experts stressed that it was impossible to predict the earthquake accurately, the predictions still affected tourism, especially with a significant decrease in Hong Kong tourists, a sharp drop in travel bookings, and even the suspension of Hong Kong Airlines flights to many places. The Japan Meteorological Organization and the Japan Tourism Bureau called on the rumors not to be believed, emphasizing that there is no scientific basis for earthquake predictions, and hoping that tourists will be rational and travel to Japan with peace of mind. News highlights: Yin Ziyi, a member of the South Korean girl group Fanatics, and Ji, a Taiwanese member, were mistreated by the restaurant when they dined in Penghu a few days ago, and the incident caused netizens to angrily brush up on negative comments, and even the Penghu County magistrate came forward to apologize. Yin Ziyi spoke again on the 25th, clarifying that the business hours were not exceeded that night, and the film was not edited and faked, and apologized for the misunderstanding, saying that he had no intention of expanding the incident, and donated 50,000 yuan to the Penghu Family Support Foundation, hoping to return the innocence of Penghu sightseeing. News highlights: there was a major car accident in Darwin Bait on the evening of the 18th. 2 male high school students who were riding a bicycle with a double load were suspected of being too fast, and hit an electric pole at the turn of Zuyuan Street, and both of them fell to the ground with a jet, and they were declared dead after being sent to the hospital. The student surnamed Lin, who was riding a bicycle, had an alcohol test value of 0.21 milligrams, which exceeded the standard for minors, and the cause of the accident is still to be clarified. News highlights: Japanese cartoonist Natsuki Liang predicted in the future I see that a catastrophe will occur on July 5 this year, affecting Taiwan, Hong Kong, and other places. Zodiac expert Tang Qiyang reminded that Cancer has been affected by Jupiter recently, and the mood swings are great, and people feel uneasy and panicked about the future, and they need to learn to transform their emotions into strength. She believes that the catastrophe, while devastating, may also be the beginning of spiritual purification. This remark sparked heated discussions among netizens, who wished for the safety of Taiwan and the peace of the country. News highlights: many of the cheap brand name perfumes on the online auction are fake, and the chairman of the Taichung Cosmetics Association, KD, used laboratory instruments to test and found that the plasticizer content of these fake perfumes was as high as 67%, far exceeding the legal safety standard of 0.01%, which has a serious impact on human hormones. In the case of Chanel 5 Degrees, for example, the low-priced bottle on the market is counterfeit, but the fragrance is other brands and contains a lot of harmful substances. K-Dad reminds that most cheap perfumes are not safe, and you need to be vigilant when buying to avoid health risks. News highlights: the deadline for receiving the uniform invoice for January and February this year will end on July 7, and as of June 25, there are still 5 winners who have not received the award, including the special award invoice 959800685 of 10 million yuan spent at a gas station in Taiping District, Taichung. In addition, 2 million special prizes and 3 cloud invoice million prizes have not yet been claimed. The Ministry of Finance reminds lucky winners to complete the prize collection before the deadline, and the full amount of the prize money will be forfeited after the deadline. Please be sure to check the invoice to avoid missing out on the bonus. News highlights: Brad Pitt actively promoted the new film F1 movie, showing a different kind of hard work from the previous handsome and effortless, and foreign media said that his selling style was similar to Tom Cruise. The relationship between the two was strained 30 years ago due to their collaboration on Interview with the Vampire, and Brad Pitt publicly expressed that he couldn't stand Tom Cruise. Now the two are 60 years old. In order to save the traditional film market, they broke the ice and sold films together. Tom Cruise also attended the premiere of Brad Pitt's new film, showing that the relationship between the two sides has improved. News highlights: breast cancer is the #1 cancer among women in Taiwan, with a rising mortality rate, especially the HER2-positive subtype, which accounts for about 20% of cases, is considered the most challenging because of its rapid growth, easy metastasis, and strong drug resistance. With the progress of targeted therapy, dual-target subcutaneous injection therapy was included in the health insurance in May this year, reducing the burden of up to 1.8 million yuan of drug costs, shortening the treatment time, and greatly improving the quality of life and treatment compliance of patients. Physicians call for early screening and precise treatment, so that patients can live a better quality future with the support of the medical team. News highlights: President Lai Ching-te's promotion of the 10-lecture campaign to unite the country has been criticized for advocating Taiwan independence and inappropriate rhetoric because of the controversy caused by the second lecture mentioning removing impurities through elections and recalls. Shan Haozi, a veteran media person, believes that the number of seats removed by the Green Camp will not reach 10, and Last performance has helped him, and hinted that he is not suitable to play directly. The famous Chen Huiven criticized Lai for not facing up to the sovereignty of the Republic of China and cross-strait relations, and questioned his attitude towards Xi Jinping. Overall, the recall situation is not optimistic for the Green Battalion. News highlights: Chen Wenqian, a veteran media person, was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma Laos cancer in 2024 and is actively undergoing immunotherapy. On the afternoon of the 25th, he underwent emergency surgery due to mild sepsis, and shared a bed photo in the community, bleeding from the intubation of his arm, but still humorously shouted, "Come on my beloved peaceful world." She quoted Socrates to encourage herself and show a strong mindset. Fans have left messages wishing her a speedy recovery and praising her as a model of life struggle. News highlights: Taiwan Railway recently emphasized that it is forbidden to carry snakes, beasts, and other animals that may harm others on the train, and violators can be fined NT $1,500 to NT $7,500. Pets such as cats, dogs, rabbits, etc. must be packed in a cage or bag of the prescribed size and stowed under the seat. This announcement sparked heated discussions, with some netizens questioning whether snakes are beasts, and sharing that some passengers took a ball python to take a ride but let the snake escape, causing the train to be delayed. The law stipulates that anyone who carries snakes on a vehicle without permission may be detained or fined in addition to fines for intimidating snakes. News highlights: the new Taiwan dollar continued to appreciate strongly, opening at $29.36 today, and quickly rose above the $29.30 and $29.20 levels, reaching a maximum of $29.152, a new high in more than 3 years. The central bank stipulates that major export factories can only sell foreign exchange after 10 o'clock, which helps to accelerate the upward trend. The weakening of the US dollar led to a general rise in Asia, with the new Taiwan dollar rising by 0.69%, the sharpest rise among Asian currencies. This year, the new Taiwan dollar has appreciated by 11.53%, surpassing the euro to become the world's strongest currency. Experts expect the new Taiwan dollar to continue to rise, and there is a chance to challenge the 28 prefix. News highlights: Nvidia's stock price hit a new high after its shareholder meeting on Wednesday, reaching a market capitalization of $3.77 trillion, surpassing Microsoft to regain the world's top market capitalization. CEO Jensen Huang emphasized that in addition to artificial intelligence, AI, robotics is another growth market for the company, and self-driving cars will be the first major commercial application. Encouraged by this profit, on the 26th, Taiwan's robot concept stocks rebounded strongly, and Xinhan, Zhaimao, Yulong and other multi-level daily limits, Luosheng, Kengtai, Day and Microsystems, etc. also rose sharply and became the focus of the disc. News highlights: US President Donald Trump said he has locked in 3 or 4 candidates to replace Fed Chairman Jerome Powell and is considering announcing his successor before Powell's term expires in May. Trump criticized Powell for being terrible and dissatisfied with the Fed's delay in cutting interest rates, and once asked for a 2.5 percentage point cut. Rumored favorites include former Fed Governor Huisk, National Economic Council Chairman Hassett, current Governor Waller, and Treasury Secretary Bessent. Powell, for his part, stressed that the Fed's decision-making is free from political interference, and said that a rate cut is possible, but it will be cautious. News highlights: the Kaohsiung State Taxation Bureau of the Ministry of Finance reminds the public that when using the online tax filing system to declare comprehensive income tax, it is necessary to complete the declaration information upload procedure. The public can go to the Ministry of Finance Electronic Declaration and Tax Payment Service Network to check the status of the declaration and confirm whether it has been successfully uploaded. The IRS stresses that although it is convenient to file tax returns, it is important not to neglect the details so as not to affect your rights and interests. News highlights: South Korea's LG Electronics announced that it will terminate mobile phone software upgrades and related services on June 30, 2025, ending the 31-year history of mobile phone software updates. LG has been in the mobile phone market since 1994, and in 2008 it became one of the world's top 3 mobile phone brands, with classic products including the best-selling chocolate machine. However, due to consecutive years of losses, LG officially withdrew from the mobile phone market in 2021 and will focus on 6G and software research and development in the future. Users must complete the software update before the service is terminated to avoid affecting the use. News highlights: during the peak summer vacation travel season, the Food and Drug Administration reminds that bringing food, medicines, medical equipment and cosmetics into the country is limited to personal use, and resale is prohibited, and violators will be fined. For the food part, the maximum number of tablets is 12 bottles/species, and the total number does not exceed 36 bottles. General food items are limited to $1,000 in value and not more than 6 kilograms in weight. Drugs are classified as over-the-counter, prescription and tube-based, all of which are limited in limited quantities and must carry a prescription certificate. Medical equipment such as OK bandages, medical cotton swabs, contact lenses, etc. are also limited. If the cosmetic product is a glass ampoule, it is necessary to apply for approval. Illegal resale can be fined up to 3 million yuan. News highlights: Miaoli County Government No. 1 office building in the early morning of the 26th fell tragedy. 57-year-old section chief surnamed Huang took over less than 3 months, suspected of obesity and other pain, lost contact with his family after confiding in his family. The police were notified to launch a search, and found that Huang Nan fell from the 7th floor and died on the spot. The police have preliminarily ruled out the intervention of external forces, and have notified the family to identify the body and report to the prosecutor for an examination of the cause of death, but the facts of the case are still to be clarified. The police appeal to those with psychological distress to call the safety hotline for assistance. News highlights: Tainan City Councilor Li Zhonglin, who stepped down as chairman of the Tainan Party Department of Taiwan's Jiaijin in April this year, announced his withdrawal from Taiwan's Jiaijin today, and said that he will run for re-election as a non-party member in the 2026 9-in-1 general election and will not join the DPP. He admitted that although he is consistent with the concept of Jiaijin, there are differences in perspective and cognition, and he chose to break up peacefully, looking forward to working for a common ideal on different tracks in the future. Wu Yujia, the new chairman of the Tainan Party Department of Taiwan's Jiaijin Tainan, respected his decision and set off again to reorganize the organization. News highlights: Kong Fanjia, a former lieutenant colonel and deputy director of the Zhenwen Society, who claimed to be the 74th generation of Confucius, was accused of colluding with officials in Xiamen, China, accepting funds from the Chinese Communist Party and arranging for the Taiwan military to contact the Chinese Communist Party. After serving in the army and after retiring from service, Kong repeatedly accepted bribes, arranged for military personnel to travel to the mainland to receive entertainment, and attempted to establish ties between the Chinese Communists and China's military. The court held that his actions endangered national security, and sentenced and pronounced a 3-year deprivation of public power and confiscation of the proceeds of crime. News highlights: the global semiconductor industry continues to be sluggish, and Kunfin Technology, a subsidiary of Taiwan-listed company Mask, 2338, has filed for bankruptcy with the Meili District Court due to insufficient assets to repay NT $1.058 billion in liabilities. Founded in 2006, Kunfin Technology is mainly engaged in micro-SD and NAND flash packaging, but its losses have expanded due to the fierce competition in the industry and the poor semiconductor boom. The Mask said that the dissolution case of Kunfin Technology has been passed, and the bankruptcy application will not have a significant impact on the consolidated financial report of the Mask, and the related losses have been reflected in the financial report. News highlights: Kalian has not won the jackpot for 34 periods, and the prize money is 1.75 billion yuan, which will be drawn on the 26th. The numerologist Xiao Meng pointed out that the 4 zodiac signs of the Oat, the Golden Bull, the Twins, and the Lion are prosperous, and the luck of positive wealth and partial wealth is good, and the God of wealth will come to increase the probability of winning. The Sheep's work performance is good, and the relationship is expected to get off the list. Taurus is optimistic about financial luck and is suitable for getting bonuses. Twins grow in their careers and gain wealth by doing good deeds. Lions are lucrative, but you need to be careful of emotional misunderstandings. The 4 zodiac signs have their own lucky colors to help you. News highlights: a woman in her 30s had an abnormally swollen abdomen within half a year, like a pregnant woman, and was diagnosed with advanced colorectal cancer. Qian Zhenghong, a gastroenterologist at Changgung Hospital, pointed out that colorectal cancer is gradually getting younger, and young patients are prone to delay treatment due to insignificant symptoms, which increases the risk of death. He reminded to eat less high-fat, red meat and processed foods, which disrupt the intestinal flora, promote chronic inflammation and polyp formation, and increase the risk of colorectal cancer. The American Cancer Society recommends that people over the age of 45 should have regular fecal occult blood tests to screen for early detection to reduce the risk of cancer. News highlights: on July 26, 24 Kuomintang legislators and Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan will face recall votes, and the Kuomintang will seize the right to Kita Grand Road on July 25, and is expected to call on 10,000 people to take to the streets to oppose the recall, and will hold campaign activities in many places. In addition, the Anti-Communist Volunteer Alliance for Taiwan Protection will launch a national defense campaign from Hualien on July 4, and hold a large-scale campaign on Qingdao East Road on July 19. UMC founder Joshua H.S. Xing Cao called on President Li King to attend the joint campaign and look forward to standing with the recall group. News highlights: a case of snatching a motorcycle on the street occurred in Lezhou District, Dawan, last night, and the suspect randomly locked on a mother with a child during rush hour after work and tried to snatch the locomotive. Witnesses screamed in terror, but fortunately, a number of passers-by and a strong man acted quickly to successfully suppress the suspect and prevent the robbery from happening. The suspect was emotionally unstable and claimed that the locomotive was broken before robbing the car, and the police arrested him on the spot and transferred him for investigation according to the crime of robbery. The incident aroused public concern and also showed the righteous actions of the people. News highlights: on the 25th, U.S. time, CEO Jensen Huang emphasized that AI and robotics are 2 major growth opportunities in the future, especially the urgent development of robot safety detection systems. Chuangbo, a subsidiary of Nexcom, 8234, in Taiwan, successfully entered the supply chain of NVIDIA's NVIDIA Halos AI security detection system, and made its debut at the GTC exhibition in France, becoming the only Taiwanese factory responsible for robot safety business. Chuangbo provides a one-stop security development toolkit to greatly shorten the time for robot safety certification, and is expected to increase revenue by 20 to 30% in 2025. Lin Mokang, chairman of Nexcom, said that if the NVIDIA ecosystem can be integrated, Chuangbo will become Mediatek in the robotics industry. News highlights: Paradise of Capybara, a well-known ecological farm in Pingtung, suddenly paralyzed and died of 2 capybaras earlier this month. Poison tests revealed that the pesticide aminomethane sulfonic acid and the strong alkali solvent ethylmethylamine were found in the body, and it was suspected that they had been deliberately poisoned. The park has provided CCTV footage to the police for investigation and called on the Animal Protection Department to intervene. The police said that they had launched an investigation and sentenced those involved to 5 years in prison and a fine in accordance with the animal protection law, stressing that they should not defy the law. News highlights: Feng Debing, the former director of Xiaomi, broke out in an extramarital affair scandal, suspected of signing a maintenance contract with more than 200 women, which detailed the number of days of companionship, the amount, and extremely private terms, and even included mandatory behavior. His wife found out that he had 6 to 7 children with various women, so she exposed it and filed a divorce. Most of the contract objects are online beauties and female college students, and Feng has a large number of nude photos and group photos hidden in his mobile phone. The incident sparked public opinion. Feng Debing has not yet responded, and netizens criticized his behavior for seriously violating morality. News highlights: in cooperation with Line, the Criminal Affairs Bureau has imposed a large-scale suspension of 73,000 abnormal Line accounts registered with 45,000 high-risk phone numbers, and has vigorously cracked down on the communication tools used by fraud syndicates. The operation uses systematic data analysis to block the fraud chain from the source, and combined with the cross-industry joint prevention mechanism, the relevant industry is required to re-verify or suspend the rights of high-risk accounts. The Crime Bureau stressed that it will continue to analyze the fraud data in depth and share intelligence with the industry to effectively reduce the risk of deception to the public, and called on the public to be vigilant and avoid joining the Line investment group suspected of fraud again. News highlights: 2 months after the loss of his son, a man in Kaohsiung molested his daughter-in-law, who had just lost her husband, while she was asleep, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison for forcible indecency. The incident occurred in August 2023, the daughter-in-law caught a cold and fell asleep. The man took the opportunity to touch her lower body and kiss her, and the daughter-in-law videotaped to collect evidence and asked a friend to leave home. The court found that the man's behavior was against the daughter-in-law's will, and the daughter-in-law's delay in reporting the case was due to her reliance on the man to provide accommodation and psychological pressure, and the judgment was reasonable. The judge criticized the man for violating ethics and having a bad attitude, which caused serious physical and mental trauma to the daughter-in-law, and the case can still be appealed. News highlights: former chairman of the People's Party, Kay Wenz, was exposed to a dispute over Hsinchu farmland during his presidential campaign, and said at that time that he would sell his holdings. After a year and a half, the farmland was finally sold on May 19 this year, and the transfer was completed on June 16, with an estimated sale price of more than 18 million yuan. Li Qiuzhang, chairman of the party department, pointed out that Kay and his wife Chen Peiqi's accounts were frozen, and the sale of agricultural land was to maintain economic resources. He refuted the accusations that Kay was profit-taking improperly, stressed that the transaction was open, transparent, and legal, and criticized DPP lawmakers for constantly pursuing Kay and called for an end to unreasonable pursuits. News highlights: Director Zhang Jiaming, director of Taipei Rong Zone, pointed out that dementia, cancer, and other civilization diseases are mostly related to chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. Chronic inflammation symptoms are not obvious, and may manifest as tiredness, obesity, indigestion, etc., and if not detected early, it may increase the risk of disease. Diet is key. It is recommended to eat more cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, keep the peels of fruits such as apple peels, and consume dietary fiber to promote intestinal health. Papaya, which is rich in antioxidants, also helps with anti-inflammatory. Controlling chronic inflammation can help prevent cancer and other diseases, avoid high fat, high sugar and ultra-processed foods, and supplement probiotics and dietary fiber to maintain immunity and health. News highlights: in the last month of the first round of voting for the general recall, 24 legislators of the Kuomintang have been locked up, and if more than half of them are recalled, Han Kuo-yu's position as the head of the legislative presidency may be threatened. Han returned to China a few days ago, actively stood on the platform for the Blue Committee, and will go to Dawin on the evening of the 24th to help give a lecture and start the battle to defend the dragon. The Blue Camp emphasized that the legislators asked about the actual performance of the government, and the grassroots and supporters worked hard to fight back against the recall voice, but some areas of Dawin were green, and it was difficult to urge votes. The number of seats in the National Assembly is delicate, and if the recall is successful, the DPP may have an absolute majority, which will have the opportunity to revise the threshold for the election of the Legislative Council and shake the status of Han Kuo-yu. News highlights: since 2020, Sun Li has gotten up at 5 a.m. every day and continued to copy the Heart Sutra, which has been completed for the 140th time, with neat and beautiful handwriting. She practiced self-discipline through writing, practiced cello and yoga, was a vegetarian and adopted stray animals, and even her daughter was influenced to learn calligraphy. Her husband Deng Chao praised her as an eternal god, and fans also admired her perseverance and focus, believing that her success stemmed from this perseverance. News highlights: the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office investigated Taiwan's largest fake withdrawal fraud case Milei Group, and launched the 5th wave of search the day before yesterday, interviewing a total of 14 people, including the lawyers involved in the case and the core of the group, and 11 people were detained and forbidden to see them. The syndicate defrauded 15.7 billion yuan by fake withdrawals, with more than 5,000 victims. The main suspect, Ou Yatong, was detained for nearly 4 months after his arrest, admitting to money laundering but denying fraud. The prosecution's investigation found that the syndicate used bars, funeral parlors, and other cover for money laundering and set up more than 2,000 fake investment websites. Prosecutors continue to investigate and severely punish those involved, in an effort to break the chain of crimes. News highlights: a recent study by the French Food Safety Agency found that the amount of microplastics in glass bottles is 5 to 50 times higher than that of plastic bottles and metal cans, with an average of about 100 microplastic particles per liter. Studies have pointed out that microplastics mainly come from the paint on the outer layer of glass bottle caps, and the friction produces particulates into beverages during storage and transportation. The microplastic content of different beverages also varies, with beer having the highest content and red wine having almost no microplastics. The study reminds that microplastics may affect human health, and it is recommended to clean the bottle cap or blow off the dust before drinking, which can reduce the risk of contamination by about 60%. News highlights: a retired couple in Japan remitted 40 million yen, about NT $8.4 million, in 4 years to sponsor their grandson to study in the United States, but they were charged about 8 million yen in gift tax. The tax authorities determined that the funds were not immediately used for tuition fees, but were mostly deposited into the grandson's account, which did not comply with the tax exemption requirement of immediate payment and actual use of education funds, and was changed to general gift taxation. Experts remind that the tax exemption of education fees must meet the conditions of instant payment and special use to avoid one-time large-scale remittances and unclear use of funds, and it is recommended to keep relevant receipts and transfer records for future inspection. News highlights: an employee surnamed Chen of TSMC stole his colleague Tian Nan's chicken chops and black tea, and was convicted of theft and detained for 10 days. Tian Nan sued Chen Nan for being dismissed due to pressure and claimed 300,000 yuan, but the court held that Chen did not have enough influence, and the reason for Tian Nan's resignation was that he was incompetent for his work, and there was no evidence to prove that the dismissal was related to Chen, and sentenced Chen to be exempted from compensation. The prosecution's request for an increase in sentence was rejected and the case was closed. News highlights: the power lottery jackpot has not been drawn for 34 consecutive periods, with a cumulative prize of about $1.75 billion. Numerologist Zhang Weishong analyzes that the mantissa of the most prosperous year of wealth this week is 2, 6, and 9, which is not only beneficial to stocks, but also to improve the trading and sales business. Zhang Weishong reminded that you can cooperate with experienced elders in joint ventures to make money together. Another numerologist, Yang Dengcheng, pointed out that on June 26, the tiger, horse, dog, and pig zodiac signs have good fortune, and the god of wealth is located in the southwest and west, and the lucky colors include red and a variety of green. News highlights: He Long was terminated by Sadal because of his relationship with Albi, and was exposed to forcing his predecessor to have an abortion, and his image declined rapidly. Fan Swan Circular Life pointed out that abortion is a serious physical and mental torture for women, not only the problem of fertilized eggs, but may even make women difficult to let go of for a lifetime. He Long once made public his ex-girlfriend's suicide note to defend himself, but he angered his friend Lin Yanfei, and was exposed to the abortion incident and the rapid exposure of his new love, and his image completely collapsed. News highlights: in order to create a friendly workplace environment, the Ministry of Labor expects that from 2026, the child care allowance will be extended from the current 6 months to 7 months, and parents can apply for an additional maximum of 73,280 yuan at the same time. In addition, starting from July this year, the condolence payment for the death of work-related accidents that have not been adjusted for more than 20 years will be increased from 100,000 yuan to 200,000 yuan, and a reasonable workplace adjustment mechanism for people with disabilities will be promoted. Subsidies and counseling will be provided to protect the rights and interests of workers. News highlights: when a woman in Guangzhou returned home after a year away from home for work, she was shocked to find that her balcony was surrounded by 12 air conditioning units installed in the shop downstairs, causing the indoor heat and noise to seriously affect her life. After investigation, 10 units were installed during her move-out, and finally, under the coordination of the management committee, the shop agreed to adjust the location and dismantle some units to improve the quality of living. News highlights: actress Albi and He Long were recently photographed traveling together in Japan, falling into the suspicion of the junior, and were questioned about intervening in He Long's 6-year relationship with the late actress heavily disabled. She denied the overlap of feelings, emphasizing a clear conscience. Netizens dug up that she was also exposed as early as 2014 to rob other people's boyfriends, when she personally counterattacked, saying that she was fair, and had never been sorry for anyone, emphasizing that the rumors were false rumors. News highlights: actress Xiao S stopped work completely after the death of her sister Big S, and it was recently rumored on the internet that she was witnessed in South Korea being thin and haggard, and even appeared on the hot search. However, some sharp-eyed netizens found that the background of the photo was actually Chen Jianzhou's house, and questioned that the picture was faked through P Pictures. The original breaking news post has been deleted, and netizens have criticized this move as a heat gain and improper behavior. News highlights: He Long was terminated by Sadal because of the exposure of his relationship with Albi and the revelation that his ex-girlfriend had an abortion, which caused controversy. It is reported that the second season of He Long's night show has long been in trouble due to discrimination and controversy. Not only the guests have declined, but even the sponsors have withdrawn, and the program is in difficulty. According to industry analysis, Sadal chose to cut He Long when the emotional turmoil broke out, because his image collapsed, his output value declined, and in order to avoid more controversy, he chose to cut off his tail to survive. News highlights: South Korean actress Shin Se-kyung has been bullied by the same netizen for many years, intimidating and maliciously slandering her and her relatives and friends, and the prosecutor rarely sought a sentence of 2 years in prison for her viciousness. The defendant pleaded guilty in court, arguing that he had started working part-time and hoped to reintegrate into society, and requested a lighter sentence. Shen Shijing's brokerage company stressed that it will continue to take legal measures against malicious behavior and will not tolerate it. The incident sparked heated discussions on the Korean internet, and most netizens supported heavy punishments, believing that online violence should be severely punished. News highlights: Hong Kong idol Zhang Tao accidentally fell into the sea on the 24th because he was dizzy when he climbed over the railing to watch the sunset, but fortunately there was no major problem, and he appeared at the event on the 25th to restore the accident. He admitted that he took medication and drank a small amount of alcohol due to headaches at the time, denied being depressed, emphasized that the incident was purely accidental, and reminded fans not to imitate. Zhang Tao thanked the rescuers and apologized for taking up public resources, and the scheduled fan meeting will be postponed to July 29. News highlights: during the peak summer vacation travel season, the Food and Drug Administration reminds that bringing food, medicines, medical equipment and cosmetics into the country is limited to personal use, and resale is prohibited, and violators will be fined. For the food part, the maximum number of tablets is 12 bottles/species, and the total number does not exceed 36 bottles. General food items are limited to $1,000 in value and not more than 6 kilograms in weight. Drugs are classified as over-the-counter, prescription and tube-based, all of which are limited in limited quantities and must carry a prescription certificate. Medical equipment such as OK bandages, medical cotton swabs, contact lenses, etc. are also limited. If the cosmetic product is a glass ampoule, it is necessary to apply for approval. Illegal resale can be fined up to 3 million yuan. News highlights: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea are seen as axis of instability, but when the United States and Israel attacked Iran, only North Korea publicly condemned it, and China, Russia did not provide substantial military assistance, exposing the alliance's lack of consensus on defensive assistance. China values economic stability and energy security to avoid angering regional partners in the United States. Russia has not been actively involved due to its limited resources and the need to take into account its relations with Israel. North Korea, for its part, could help Iran rebuild its missile facilities. This situation shows that the anti-American coalition has divergent interests and limited military capabilities, which has further isolated Iran. News highlights: on May 17, 2025, with the decommissioning of Unit 2 of the 3rd nuclear power plant, Taiwan officially entered the non-nuclear homeland and became the first country in Asia to fully abolish nuclear weapons. However, the cost of decommissioning is as high as 2.4 trillion yuan. The problem of nuclear waste disposal, power supply, and carbon emission risks still need to be solved. Experts emphasized the need to establish a public knowledge platform and promote rational dialogue among the whole people, so that energy policies can take into account safety, sustainability, and industrial development, and support the growth momentum of energy-intensive industries such as AI in the future. News highlights: after protests in Los Angeles sparked by Trump's tough deportation of illegal immigrants, Mayor Bass announced on June 17 that the curfew would be lifted, and the streets gradually returned to normal. Waymo, a self-driving car operator that was targeted during the demonstrations, restarted operations and expanded its services. Despite the potential of the self-driving vehicle market, Waymo still faces challenges such as privacy, surveillance controversy, and public trust. Protesters questioned the fact that self-driving cars are like mobile monitors, reflecting society's deep anxiety about technology encroaching on freedoms. Whether Waymo can develop in the long term still needs to respond to the test of urban governance and public opinion. News highlights: a life-threatening heat wave is sweeping across the eastern United States, affecting nearly 160 million people. Temperatures in metropolises such as New York City are expected to soar to 40 degrees Celsius, with Central Park hitting its highest level since 1888. New York City Mayor Adams warned that the heat kills hundreds of people each year, urging people to hydrate and go to summer centers. The U.S. National Weather Service has issued a multi-state heat alert, and the heat wave is caused by the phenomenon of a high-pressure heat dome. Scientists point out that extreme heat waves are clear evidence of global warming and will become more frequent and violent in the future. 2024 is expected to be the hottest year on record. News highlights: KKday, a travel e-commerce platform, announced on June 25 that in order to accelerate the transformation to AI travel technology, and in response to global economic uncertainty and changes in consumer behavior, it will start operational optimization and organizational adjustment in the second half of the year, and is expected to reduce about 15% of manpower. This move has once again attracted the attention of the industry after laying off 3.7% of employees in February this year. News highlights: the new Taiwan dollar rose to 29.151 yuan intraday on the 26th, hitting a 3-year high, and exporters wailed and bled like a river. The Packaging Association and the Machinery Association pointed out that the appreciation led to the loss of orders, and many businesses simply stopped orders to avoid risks. Although the central bank has issued a short limit order to suppress the tide of foreign exchange selling, the industry's criticism has not helped substantially. The central bank stressed that appreciation could offset the cost of imports, but the industry questioned the uneven benefits. Some manufacturers estimate that the new Taiwan dollar may rise above 28 yuan, or even drop to 26 yuan, which will hit the manufacturing industry hard. News highlights: known as the world's most dangerous plant, the giant hogweed is suspected of invading Hokkaido, Japan, and Hokkaido University has recently found several plants on campus and urgently sealed off the area. When a painter touched the plant, a huge blister immediately formed on the back of his hand and warned the public not to touch or eat it by mistake. The plant juice contains phototoxins, which can cause burns and even blindness when exposed to sunlight. At present, it has not been included in the list of alien species control in Japan, and the university will work with relevant units to develop countermeasures. News highlights: Wu Yuzha, 39, a former National Taiwan University 5 princesses, has faded out of the entertainment industry since 2014 after marrying Cai Shaoran, chairman of the Wangtai Education and Culture Foundation, to concentrate on family life and have 3 children. Recently, former anchor Chen Hian rarely posted a photo with Wu Yuzha and Gao Yuxuan. Wu Yuzha's beauty and slender figure are the same as before, which has aroused heated discussions among netizens. She currently serves as the CEO of the foundation and is immersed in harp practice, laughing that the community is just lazy and enjoying the process of music and self-talk. News highlights: the well-known Daedong Night Market in Tainan was split into Daedong Night Market and Daedong Night Market at the end of 2022 due to the rebidding by the municipal government, resulting in chaos and loss of people. People criticized the inconvenience of shopping, the duplication of shops, the reduction of street vendors, and the fact that the night market was no longer lively. Many netizens shouted "I won't go again," lamenting that the split of the night market has greatly reduced the charm of the original landmark.